Oh. The beauty of wisdom, the beauty about wisdom is that everyone has access to it. The beauty, the beauty of wisdom and the beauty about wisdom is that it has been given to each one of us equally. Nature, it has been given to us, each one of us equally. Nature does not discriminate. Discrimination is the sickness of human mind, unfortunately. Nature does not discriminate. One can be very intelligent, one can be very unintelligent, one can be very rich or poor, one can be very smart or not smart, one can be highly educated or not educated at all. Wisdom is being given to each one of us equally. Now, your question is, if it has been given to each one of us equally, then why is that we cannot have access to it equally? Why we cannot see everyone wise? Why we cannot see everyone speaking? Why we cannot see everyone is speaking the words of truth and everyone is speaking the words of wisdom? Why everyone cannot see through the eyes of truth and wisdom? That's what your question is. The reason why everyone is not acting wisely, the reason why everyone is not able to be wise, the reason why everyone is having a hard time basically to access that wisdom is because some of us are caught up, unfortunately, in doubts. Some of us are caught up, unfortunately, under the influence of thoughts. Some of us are caught up in fear. That's the reason not every individual, that's the reason not every individual has or can, or rather can access wisdom equally. That's the reason you don't see everyone acting wisely. The more we are trying to transcend all these things which keep us away from being wise, the more we try to transcend all these, all this karma in form of fear, in form of being the under the heavily influence of our thoughts and our contents, under the influence of doubt in ourselves, under the influence of paranoia. A mind who is so caught up, unfortunately, in doubts and in fear is not able of being wise. I hope you are following me. A mind who is so caught up in the fear and in the doubts in ourselves, a mind who has taken charge of the being. There is no chance for the being of being wise. Wisdom is always there. Wisdom is so generic. Wisdom is always there. Wisdom is so generic that it is always under, it is always overlooked. We are so fascinated by the objects around us. We are so fascinated with the thoughts within us. We are so fascinated by the beings, the accumulation around us, that sadly wisdom is always overlooked. It is so generous. As I said not long ago, it's been given to each one of us equally. Some of us are more cluttered than others. Some of us are more influenced, unfortunately, with fear, with paranoia, with doubts in ourselves, with our thought process. That's such a being and such a person, even though has access very closely to wisdom, but is not able to see until unless such a being or such a person transcend all this karma. A person who is less or not caught up in fear, a person who is less or not caught up in paranoia, a person who is less or not caught up in doubts in themselves is more able to see wisdom. The person asked in the same email that you seem to know, and we have no doubt that you are a wise being. How have you achieved this state of the being? The answer is simple. If you want to make a change, if you want to have access to the wisdom that I encompass, or any wise person, any rishi encompasses, you have to go beyond the thought process. The problem starts when you become heavily involved in the content of your thought. Remember something, the content of your thought is whatever it is everything that you know, is the whole edifice of the knowledge. Everything you know, it's not important. Thought would rearrange the content and show you it's not telling you anything new. First, you have to remember. See, I always tell you, remember the word remember. First, you have to remember that you don't get involved in the content, no matter how compelling that is, no matter how hard it is pulling you towards the content of the thought. At least sometimes during the day, every day, if you do that, you would create sufficient distance between what your thoughts are and yourself. Remember something, there is no need to be scared, because we all know one way or another, nobody, no accumulation, one way or another, no accumulation is going to be here forever. All our accumulations we would leave here and progress further. Yoga and meditation evolves you in the one which progresses, evolves you in the one which one basically carries with themselves. That is wise to invest in that. Hence, you would lose fear little by little when you fully and profoundly comes to terms with the bodily demise. Fear, paranoia, doubts, duality, funny feelings in our solar plex, which keeps us suffocate, which keeps us restless, and we get involved, we get fascinated in the content of this, and then we lose the whole point. But if we create sufficient distance between what we essentially are, if you understand what I'm saying to you, if we create sufficient distance between what we essentially are and the content of our thought process, we would be able to control our thoughts. When we would be able to control our thoughts, when we would not be overwhelmed, when we would not bolt on the thought when it is not necessary, there is a chance of being wise. Wisdom, as I said, everyone has equal access to wisdom. It's not that some of us has been given more wisdom than others. If you believe in that, you are believing in a lie. Each single one of us has been given access to wisdom. The reason we are not there, the reason everybody is not on the same scale of being wise, is because some of us have transcended more than others. But never be disappointed. You see, it's a long process. It's a long process. It's a hard process. It seems like a workout because you want to maintain a journal focus sometime during the day. The problem maintaining with the journal focus again, that as soon as the being tries to maintain the journal focus, mind goes nuts. Mind goes, what the word I'm looking for? Mind goes nuts and mind goes wild. And the mind says, I used to be employed. Now you have fired me. Mind does not like that. Mind is a very powerful entity, but do not underestimate yourself. What you fundamentally are is eternal. What you fundamentally are is eternal. What you fundamentally are is limitless. What you fundamentally are is eternity. You are the sense of self-awareness. You are the pure consciousness. You always have upper hand on the mind. Mind is a mode of consciousness. It is channelizing what you essentially are so you can experience the three-dimensional reality around you. That's all mind is. And that's one of the reasons mind's gotta be so powerful. But remember something, with the dedication, I keep telling you, with the dedication towards your Kriya Yoga, with the dedication towards your Kriya meditation, you can achieve that state of being wise. You can achieve that state of being, you can achieve that wisdom. You see, you have heard of Gautama Siddhartha, Buddha the enlightened. Somebody asked him, so where is that truth? Where is that eternal bliss or nirvana or that truth that you talk about? Gautama Siddhartha, Buddha the enlightened, answered, is is right here on the tip of your nose. If you understand what I'm saying, Gautama Buddha the enlightened answer is right here on the tip of your nose. On the tip of your nose. You see the tip of your nose? And a lot of people couldn't figure out what that means. So during yoga and during meditation, they start keep touching on their nose, on the tip of their nose. But it's a metaphor. What he was trying to say to people, that it is so generic. It's always there. That's why it's overlooked. And why it is overlooked? Because of your fascination with the three-dimensional reality, because of your fascination with the three-dimensional objects around you, the peoples around you, the doubts in you, the fear in you. That's why you get fascinated with all this, and we lose the entire point of being wise. It's very possible to transcend yourself from all these negative traits. You see, through Kriya Yoga, it would take time. If you understand what I'm saying to you, it would take time, it would take dedication. But if you do not give up, if you just keep going, if you forget that how to get frustrated, if you remember, you see, remember the word remember. If you remember your whole purpose, if you remember your whole goal is to shed karma, and these circumstances and this reality are the tools through which you would shed karma, then you would transcend all these traits and you would become wise. Wisdom is the beauty of wisdom as the nature. The beauty of basically wisdom is that you don't have to travel anywhere. You see, the beauty of the wisdom is that you don't have to travel anywhere outside of you. The beauty of the wisdom is you do not have to go physically anywhere. You do not have to go through a lot of hardships or anything like that. The beauty of the wisdom is there is no distance between wisdom. Now follow my words, what I'm telling you. The beauty of the wisdom is there is no distance between the wisdom and the being. You if you remain without fear, if you are not caught up in fear, if you are not caught up in doubts, if you are not caught up in assumptions, if you are not caught up in gossips, if you are not caught up in the psychological drama and the content of your thought, all you have there, basically, all you have there is wisdom. You understand? All you have there is wisdom. It's not something that you are acquiring. It's not something that you are acquiring through a physical or a spiritual practice. It's something which is always there. And the reason you couldn't see it is because you were fascinated. You see? I use the metaphor of a rubber band. If you remember, sometime I used this metaphor of rubber band, that if you take a rubber band, hypothetically speaking, if you understand what I'm saying, hypothetically speaking, if you take a rubber band and you wrap that rubber band around your finger, shh, there's an airplane. If you take a rubber band and you wrap that rubber band around your finger, you become so fascinated with the rubber band, but you don't become fascinated with the finger. You are not the rubber band. Rubber band is all this three-dimensional reality that you experience. You are the finger itself. So do not get fascinated with this reality. Take this reality as it is happening to you. This reality is nothing but a tool for you to shed the karma. The circumstances you go through, you shed the karma. You see? So understand what I said to you. Once you become fearless, you see, once you become fearless, once you have no fear in you, once you stop investing in the gossips, once you stop investing in the doubts, once you become totally authentic and totally clear within you, once you have acquired that transparency of things, if you understand, once you have acquired the transparency of things, you are wise. You don't even have to travel, or you do not even have to go from point A to point B and acquire in order to acquire the wisdom. You see, this is what I'm saying. In order to acquire the wisdom, you don't even have to travel. There is no distance between what you essentially are and wisdom. Wisdom is your fundamental state. So pay it. So think, not think, but focus what I said to you. You see, focus what I said to you, and focus that how and focus that if you are serious with your well-being, if you are serious enough to understand the goal of human life, you understand, and if you want to achieve that goal, then take the right measures. Make some time every day for yourself. Through the dedication to yoga and meditation, you would get rid of fear. You would get rid of anxiety. You would get rid of depression. You would stop being fascinated with the objects around you. You would stop being fascinated with the gossips and the beings around you. You would learn through the Kriya Yoga and meditation to retrieve, you see, to relax, you see, to relax your attention from outwards and bringing within you. And once you are able to do that, little by little, every day, by making some time for yourself, once you are able to do that, you would become wise. You see, it's very simple. Anyway, you heard the bell quite a while back, so it's time for me for a private meditation session. However, we still have time that I can see, so we will perform some more meditation. You see, we perform more meditation, we have a chance of being wise. Please remember that. Om.